Okay, so today we're really diving deep into those subtle signs, like when you think someone might be crushing on you, but they're trying to keep it on the DL.
Definitely makes you wonder what's going on under the surface, right?
Right. And we're dissecting this article, 9 Signs She is Hiding Deep Feelings for You, which I have to admit is a pretty bold title.
Definitely grabs your attention. And yeah, it focuses on a heterosexual dynamic, but honestly, these underlying behaviors, they're pretty universal, wouldn't you say?
Totally. So we're using it as a jumping off point.
Yeah.
Think of this deep dive as a crash course in decoding those hidden signals, no matter who's sending them.
Sounds good to me.
Perfect. So the first sign this article digs into is all about how someone listens when you're talking.
Right, right. And we all like to think we're good listeners, but it's more than just like nodding along, It's about the quality of the attention, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like imagine someone remembering some tiny detail you mentioned weeks ago. That's different. That shows they're not just hearing you, they're like mentally filing away those details because you're important to them.
It's so true. It's like when you get a crush on someone, suddenly you remember every little thing they say, even stuff from ages ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our brains are wired to prioritize. There's so much coming at us constantly that we naturally focus on what we care about, what matters.
Makes sense.
So when someone's crushing, even those little offhand comments you make, they become significant because you are.
So if you notice someone's got like a mental highlight reel of your favorite things, might be a sign they're trying to tell you something.
Could be.
Now, the next sign is tricky. It's about proximity, or as the article puts it, making an effort to be near you.
And that can be tough to decipher because we're not talking about, stalker level closeness. It's subtler. It's more about noticing if there's a pattern.
Oh, okay. So like what? Give me an example.
Well, let's say someone suddenly wants to get into your favorite hobby, or you keep bumping into them in like the most random places.
Oh, those, oh, hey, what are you doing here moments.
Exactly. It's all about those little orchestrated opportunities for connection, even if they seem subtle at first.
I totally see that. So it's like when you adjust your lunch break to match someone else's, that's not an accident, that's strategic.
100%. And speaking of putting yourself out there, that brings us to our next point, vulnerability.
Right. And this isn't about just casual gossip. It's different.
Okay, I'm listening.
This is about emotional risk. Like, are they sharing anxieties with you, dreams, those kind of embarrassing childhood stories? It can be a way of testing the waters.
Oh, I get it. Like, do I trust you with this part of me kind of thing?
Exactly. And that trust is huge. It speaks volumes about how they feel about you. Because if someone's letting you see those more, vulnerable sides, they're hoping you'll be respectful.
They're hoping you'll treat those feelings with care.
Exactly.
It's a big deal to let someone see those deeper parts of yourself. No doubt about it. And that kind of ties in with this next sign, which is less about what someone says and more about, well, everything else.
Ooh, you're talking about body language.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This section, it always gets me because so much of this stuff happens without us even realizing it. The article brings up things like leaning in, mirroring your posture, holding your gaze for a beat too long.
It's like our bodies betray us before we even realize what's up. It's kind of funny when you think about it.
It really is. And that's why being self-aware is so important. Pay attention not just to how others are acting, but to your own body language too. You might be surprised by what you discover. You know what I mean?
It's like holding up a mirror to your subconscious. Okay, so moving on, let's talk about something that can be really easy to misinterpret. Teasing.
Oh yeah, this one's a minefield for sure.
Totally. So how do we tell the difference between just playful banter and, the kind of flirting that's got a little heat behind it?
Well, like with a lot of this stuff, context is everything. The article mentions playful teasing as a sign, and it can be, but you got to look at the whole picture. Is this someone who's always cracking jokes, or do they reserve that playful energy just for you? Big difference.
Oh, absolutely. There's a world of difference between someone who's just naturally playful and someone who's like singling you out with those witty little comments.
Exactly. It's all about those nuances. Like, do you notice their jokes seem tailored to your sense of humor? Have you guys developed like inside jokes? Those details matter.
We're like detectives of the heart looking for clues.
That's a great way to put it.
And speaking of clues, this next sign really emphasizes that attention to detail thing we were talking about earlier. Remembering the small stuff.
It all circles back to that idea of prioritization, right? Like our brains are filtering through tons of information all the time, so the stuff we actually remember. That says a lot about what we subconsciously care about.
So what you're saying is, If someone remembers your go-to coffee order or that one time you mentioned that obscure band you're obsessed with,
Yeah, exactly. It's not about having a perfect memory. It's that those details, they hold a special significance because the person does.
those small things can really catch you off guard and make you think, wait a minute, this person is paying attention.
100%. And that level of care, that can be a big indicator of deeper feelings.
Okay, so this next one, it seems a little counterintuitive. Nervousness. The article says fidgeting, stumbling over words, those could actually be signs someone's trying to hide how they really feel.
It definitely can be. Now, the article focuses on this from a romantic angle, but it's worth broadening it out a little, don't you think?
Nervousness doesn't always have to equal romantic interest, right?
Right, exactly. It often comes down to wanting to make a good impression, right? Like not wanting to mess things up with someone you think is important.
Yeah, when you've got a crush on someone, it's like you suddenly become hyper aware of everything you do and say, like you're under a microscope or something.
Totally. But like I was saying, those feelings, they don't always have to be romantic. That nervousness someone's showing could be coming from a place of respect, admiration, even, just wanting to impress someone they look up to.
So it's all about looking at the bigger picture. Just because someone gets a little tongue-tied around you doesn't automatically mean they're head over heels.
Exactly. There could be a bunch of other things going on.
Right, right. Context is everything.
Yep, you got it.
Okay, this last sign we're going to unpack is a big one. When someone goes out of their way for you. And we're not just talking about, like, casual favors between friends.
No, definitely not. I mean, everyone helps each other out from time to time. This is different. Think more along the lines of consistent effort. And often, they're putting their own needs second to help you out.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Think about it. What would make someone rearrange their whole schedule just to do you a solid? Or go above and beyond when they really don't have to?
That's a really good point. Like if someone dropped everything to help you move, even though they had a million other things going on.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that says something.
It can definitely be a way of saying, without coming right out and saying it, you matter to me, you're important. But again, remember what we said about context.
Of course, context is key.
Right. So think, are they generally someone who bends over backward for everyone? Or is this behavior like really out of character for them? See what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. It's those times when someone acts totally out of character, goes above and beyond what's expected. Those are the moments that make you stop and go, hold on a second. Is there something more going on here?
You got it.
This has been so insightful. So, okay, we've unpacked these 9 signs of hidden feelings, but I think it's really important to emphasize what this article says at the end, and they're right. As insightful as all of this is, nothing beats direct communication.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, these signs are great. They can help you pick up on things you might have missed, but they're not foolproof.
They're not like guaranteed cheat codes to decipher someone's heart or anything.
Exactly. Like we were saying before, context is crucial. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is just have an open and honest conversation.
Love that. Just rip off the Band-Aid.
Sometimes it's the best way.
Well, listeners, that wraps up our deep dive on those subtle signs someone might be harboring some, shall we say, extra feelings for you. We've covered a lot of ground today, from how someone listens to the way they might go out of their way for you.
And everything in between. But, more importantly, we've highlighted how crucial it is to pay attention, to notice those subtle cues in your interactions.
Exactly. And remember what we've talked about today, just the tip of the iceberg. It's about taking these insights and seeing how they play out in your own life. So as you navigate the world and your relationships, keep your eyes peeled, your ears open, and most importantly, don't shy away from those heart-to-heart conversations. You never know what you might learn about yourself and the people around you.